Welcome back, Embers, or if you're new here, welcome to the Campfire Crew. My name is Stone. My pronouns are they, them. And as you can tell by the title, today we are finally doing my intro and first update for Project 10 Uses. So as far as intro stuff is concerned, why am I doing this project? Well, if you saw my No Pain Left Behind, it is a very similar reason. I want to use all of my products 10 times this year. I just want to get more use, kind of generally well-rounded use on my collection and make sure that I'm getting use on everything. I grew my collection a lot last year on purpose. That was the goal, but I did grow my collection a lot last year. I got into blushes and lip products and like lots of stuff when I had been doing just eyeshadows for a long time. So I just want to make sure I'm getting use on my entire collection and seeing if there's any, things I'm not using very much, and I just want to try and challenge myself. Okay, so that's why we're doing it. Now, how are we doing this project? This is going to be pretty interesting. The goal is to get to 10 uses on everything in my collection. Eyeshadow palettes, for the record, and any palettes. I only have eyeshadow palettes, but palettes in general count as one product, so I need to use an eyeshadow palette 10 times. But the way we're doing this project is it is not a rolling style project, which usually projects like this are rolling style, but I do not have a super large collection. So this is going to be throughout the year. We're going to try and get 10 uses on every single thing in my collection. It doesn't matter if I use all 10 uses in 1 month or once a month I use things. My glasses are very dirty anyway. It doesn't matter how I get that usage across the year as long as I do it. So yeah, I think that's it for intro stuff. Now let's get into it. So as per usual, if you see me looking down, it's in my sticker covered notebook. I actually also have my supplementary notebook with some stats because of course I have statistics for you guys. So the way I'm kind of thinking about this project is in categories. So what I've done is I've come up with the categories of my collection and figured out how many times a month on average I would have to use things within that category to hit the 10 uses in the year. So if we bring this one out, for an example, I have 3 highlighters and 3 eyeliners. So I would need to use highlighters 2 or 3 times in the month. Same with eyeliners, either 2 or 3. Lip stuff, I have 4 products, so I need to use them 3 times most months and 4 times a few months out of the year. Blushes, I have 5 blushes. I would need to use them 4 times a month, and occasionally for a month or 2, I think, I would need to use blush 5 times in a month, but mostly my goal is 4 uses. And for eyeshadow palettes, I have 7 eyeshadow palettes, and I would need to use them about 5 or 6 times in a month, but mostly I would need to use them 6 times, and then occasionally I could get away with 5 uses. Now, is this gonna be exactly how it happens? No, absolutely not. It is not gonna be how it happens. Some months are gonna be a lot less uses, some months are gonna be a lot more uses. But this at least will give me an idea of if I'm on track to hit goal and to be able to finish this project. So we're going to start kind of in that order, starting with products I have the least things in a category. So let's start with my newest category. I got this year in January at some point, and it is eyeliners. I have 3 eyeliners. I have them with me. It's these 3. And I used each one of these 1 time in the month. So we are good for goal. That is, I just need to use each of these once in the month or one of them 3 times. However, I'm breaking that up. But because they're new, I wanted to try them all out. So we got some good usage. I'm thinking this month, these 2, wait, this is for January. I keep forgetting I'm doing my January update and I'm just late, so late. Yeah. So far for January, I've used each of these 1 time, so I have 9 more uses on each of these individual products. But you know, we are on track. That is all good. The next thing I have 3 products of is highlighters. So these are my highlighters. Okay, let's start with my favorite highlighter. This is the Nabla Skin Glazing. I got it from DW. I got all of these from DW. Link in the description. It's the Skin Glazing in the shade Privilege, and I use that in January twice. Then we have, in my notebook, the next one is Lumiere by Bitter Lace Beauty. It's housed in this ColourPop palette. And it's this like yellowy highlighter. The Privilege by Nabla is a pinky highlighter. I have this on my face today. I don't know if you can tell. I used this once in January. And then we have Nomad Cosmetics x Sydney Bathers. Don't know if I'm saying that right. Have never heard of this creator. But it is this highlighter. I used that twice in January. So all I needed to do was 2 or 3 uses across all of this, but I actually used it 5. I've used 5 uses so far in highlighters. So that's pretty good. 5 means I have 25 more uses across all of these, which is not too bad for 11 months left in the year, or at least 11 months that you guys know of left in the year. It is March, actually, when I'm filming this, so gotta catch up real soon. That's what we're doing. That's what we're catching up. So then let's go to lippies. So lippies, I put all of my lip products in one category, regardless of what kind of lip product it is. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that always and forever, but right now that's just how it is. So I have, I believe, 4 lip products. I have 4 lip products, and of those 4, I only used 2 in January, which are both my Maybelline New York Ultimate collection lippies. So we have the shade More Stone, always funny to me, and then More Rust, and let's see, where are we? So the shade More Stone I used 2 times in January, and then the shade More Rust I used 1 time in January, which is 3 uses, which again, I need 3 uses for most of the months and occasionally 4 uses. So we are on track with this. So we are currently either on track or ahead of schedule on all of the things we've talked about so far, which is great. However, that's where we get into a slam hit into the wall, because next we're going to talk about blushes, and I don't have that much use on my blushes. I will be perfectly honest with you. So I, again, have 5 blushes in my collection. And of those 5 blushes, I have used 3 of those blushes in the month of January. To start, we have my Menagerie blush in this shade Persimmon. This is what it looks like. It's just like a neutrally color. And I used that 2 times in the month of January. Then we have my Glossier Cloud Paint in the shade Dawn. I was going to say Eve, and I was like, I don't think that's right. In the shade Dawn, it's an orangey blush, and I used that once. And then we have the Cloud Paint in the shade Eve, which is, I do actually have the shade Eve. It is this one. That is why I'm confused. And I also used that once. So that's 3 uses when I should have at least gotten 4. So I need to use blush more in the upcoming months. But we're not that behind, so I can still make up for it later in the year. Honestly, I've been using more of my eyeshadows as blushes. Again, like I said, I only have 5 blushes, so I don't have every color, but I have a much larger eyeshadow collection. I have a little over 100 eyeshadows. And of course, not all of those are going to work as blushes, but quite a few of them do. So I do end up using them as blushes, especially considering the other projects I have going on my channel. You can check out my channel to see those. But yeah, mostly we are on track. Blush is the only category we are 1 behind on so far. But now we're going to get into eyeshadow palettes. I have 7 total eyeshadow palettes. And of those 7, I used 3 of them in January. Let's go least exciting to most exciting. So least exciting is my Carnival 3 palette. I did pull it out for 1 use in January, so I only used this once. I used a couple of shades in it, but it only has 1 use. It needs 9 more by the end of the year. Next, we have my Divina singles. So there's a couple of shades that aren't just my singles in here, but of my Divina singles, in January, I used this palette 2 times. So that's a little better than the one before. But the real star of the show today for usage is my Menagerie Cosmetics Indigo Ink palette. And I actually managed to use this palette 5 times in the month of January. As you can see, it's a very blue-toned palette, which is why I used it so much. The other 5 uses I'll probably get at some point in the summer, just for these like really bright fun shades, and this red, I think all 3 of those are good summer shades. This shade Tide Pool I think will also make a good summer shade. And then when we get back into the cold months, so like probably not October, but when we get into November and December, I can pull this back out as well. So there's still lots of opportunity to get my last 5 uses, but I'm pretty pleased with this, especially considering I only needed to use eyeshadow palettes in total 5 or 6 times this month, and I used this alone 5 times, plus another 3 uses in total, so 8 uses out of the 5 or 6 that I needed. So we're well ahead of schedule of uses for eyeshadows, which is really awesome. And yeah, I think that is about it, unless I am missing something. No, I am not. Perfect. Okay, so that was the update number 1 and my intro. I hope you enjoyed. I'm really excited for this project. I'm a little nervous that I won't be able to do it, but I'm going to try my best and we'll see how it goes. Anyway, I will see you guys later for other videos. Like this video if you liked this video. I am so bad at outros, and I'll see you guys later. Bye!